Hey there folks, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is healthcare insurance in Vietnam. So, do you need to get healthcare insurance if you're living in Vietnam? Can you use the government system? Is it best to buy a private policy? What types of providers are available here? And what do you get for your money? What affects the cost of the premium, etc. So watch to the end of the video, guys, and I'll be revealing some quotes I've had, what an average cost would be for an individual and a family, and then you should be able to get an idea of what it's like to get private healthcare in Vietnam. So what's available to you in Vietnam then, guys, in regards to health insurance? Well, people mainly choose between an international or local provider. So, for example, an international provider would be someone like AXA, Prudential, Tenzing Pacific, Manulife, etc., etc. There are many providers here. Local providers, Tokyo Marine, Bao Viet. But what's the difference between an international and a Vietnamese insurance provider? Well, one of the main differences is direct billing. So with an international provider, you'll be given a card and then you can present this to the hospital when you arrive for your treatment, and they will bill the insurance company directly, which is very convenient because you don't have to pay up front and then claim it back. So in the past, over the last few years, I've had local and international providers. I've got an international provider at the moment, and it's a lot more convenient because I just hand over my card, they give a quick call to the insurance and check that whatever I'm going in there for is covered, and then they authorize it or don't authorize it. In the past, when I've had a local provider, they will give me a lot of forms to fill in, go to the payment office and get stamped, and then I'll have to pay myself and post the forms to the office and wait for authorization and payment. So it's kind of a psychological thing, I think, that they're getting you to pay with your own money up front, and perhaps, you know, they're thinking maybe you won't, or maybe you'll be less likely to go and make a claim. If you're going to pay with your own money up front. So that's the biggest benefit, in my opinion. Another benefit is elective treatment. So you're with an international provider, kind of the clues in the name, you should be covered internationally. If you wanted to go to a hospital in another country to get treatment, then depending on your policy, you're probably more likely to be able to do that with an international healthcare provider. So what are the things that affect the cost of the premium? So pretty much the same things that affect it anywhere else in the world. So age is the big one. Obviously, as you go up in age, they usually kind of rank it in 5-year increments. So as you go up, the policy goes up, and when you get to 45, 50, then it tends to go up quite a lot more for, you know, for obvious reasons. Coverage area, so whether you include coverage just within Southeast Asia and the rest of the world, excluding the US and Canada, or worldwide, will alter your premium drastically. If your premium is included in the US and Canada, it's going to be pretty high because healthcare costs there are typically very, very high. Whether you want the policy to include just inpatient treatment and emergency, or to include outpatient as well, is a big one. I've typically found in my research that if you include outpatient treatment, then the policy jumps between 300% and 800%. Of course, outpatient means just day-to-day things where you go in to get scans, pick up medication, and see the doctor for pretty much anything. Why is it more expensive? Well, I think because people just tend to use it more because they know that they're covered, so they'll use it very, very often. Extras, so things like vision, dental, maternity cover, these are going to shoot your premium up quite a bit, and these will be offered as extras on any policy. You don't have to take them, but, you know, think about perhaps covering dental is a good one. Although saying that, guys, dental treatment in Vietnam is surprisingly cheap, so if it does make a huge difference to your policy, it may be worth excluding that and just paying out of pocket for dental treatment here. Of course, pre-existing conditions, so if you've got any kind of ongoing chronic ailments and you want them to be covered, then you're going to have to pay quite a bit more. That depends a little bit on the insurance provider, but they do tend to follow scales, and I think they are fairly similar in regards to how they load the premium in regards to pre-existing medical conditions. Elective treatment, so do you want your policy just to cover you inside Vietnam for treatment inside Vietnam, or do you want your policy to give you the option to be able to go to another country to explore medical treatment somewhere else? So for example, you get injured in Vietnam, maybe you're not happy with the treatment you've had, or you cannot find a specialist here to your satisfaction. Maybe you want to go to Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia and get treatment there. So that again will add quite a big weighting to your premium. And finally, excess or deductible. So how much do you want to pay in excess in regards to each claim? You know, $200, $250, $500 for inpatient treatment. What you decide on to pay as a deductible, co-pay or excess will also vastly affect your monthly premium. So what are some of the typical costs for health insurance for a foreigner in Vietnam? Well, it's quite difficult to find out. There's not many comparison sites and you have to contact providers directly, but I managed to get hold of Pacific Prime, who are like a broker, and they cover most of the big providers here like AXA, Prudential, Tenzing Pacific as well, I believe. And I was quite surprised at how high the costs are. So the average quote in Vietnam was $7,775 per year. Per individual, the average price was $4,038 per year. And for a family, they quote $11,512 per year, although on the family quote it doesn't actually say how many members are in the family. So I'm guessing 2 children, 2 adults, but it doesn't actually say. As an example, they gave for a 1-year policy covering inpatient and outpatient care for a 35-year-old male, it would start at around $70 per month, which is quite reasonable, I think, if it includes outpatient as well. But it goes as high as $1,500 a month for a 35-year-old, but that's including cover for everything, dental, vision, and some pre-existing conditions as well. So there we have it, folks, just a very quick rundown for you today in regards to health insurance, healthcare insurance in Vietnam. I was a little surprised at how high the quotes were, but you know, a lot of the hospitals here, private hospitals, they are, in my opinion, in it to make a bit of money. They're there for profit, so that is evident in the pricing of insurance, in my opinion. You can use government hospitals here, guys, if you're working here and paying the health insurance, but it's tricky. You need some Vietnamese language skills to be able to fill out the paperwork. And local hospitals here are very different from the international or private hospitals in they're much more busy. You get a lot of people from other smaller provinces and towns coming into the city to use the government hospitals. And I don't want to say the quality of care is less. In fact, in my opinion, I think it can be better because the doctors in the public hospitals get a lot more patients, therefore a lot more practice, and actually a little bit more training, I feel, than compared to private hospitals. And there are instances where if you go in for a procedure in a private hospital, they may move you to a public hospital to complete part of that procedure if it's something that's unusual or not commonly performed. And then they'll move you back into the private hospital or international hospital to complete your period of care after your procedure or operation. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope the information's been helpful. Please leave some comments below if you have any opinions about healthcare insurance in Vietnam. If you've had wildly different quotes from the prices I've given you today, please let me know. I'm interested to hear. Please give the video a like and a comment for the algorithm. Have a great day, folks. Catch you later.